Hi everybody. Here's the thing about Death to Smoochy, and I hope you're sitting down. I actually like this movie. Death to Smoochy is a 2002 super dark comedy directed by Danny DeVito and starring Robin Williams, Edward Norton, and Catherine Keener. The movie was savaged by critics and audiences alike, unleashing hatred unlike any movie I knew at the time. Smoochy was a certified box office bomb, only bringing in a little over $8 million of its $50 million budget. Of that worldwide box office take, the film only made a little over $18,000 in foreign markets. That's not great. The typical review reads something like this review from Richard Roper. I'm sure that some country, maybe France or something, will hail this as a work of genius because it's so incredibly awful. And since I'm pulling from Roger's book here, we might as well read his first paragraph verbatim. Only enormously talented people could have made Death to Smoochy. Those with lesser gifts would have lacked the nerve to make a film so bad, so miscalculated, so lacking any connection with any possible audience. To make a film this awful, you have to have enormous ambition and confidence and dream big dreams. So the critics hated it, audiences ignored it, and it's largely been forgotten by most everyone who doesn't revel in the world of terrible cinematic endeavors like this guy. There was a time when Death to Smoochy would appear on almost every worst movie list you'd see, but those days have passed. The film has been surpassed by films by Bull, Seltzer and Friedberg, and Michael Bay. Death to Smoochy has garnered a cult audience over the years. Frankly, I hadn't seen the film since its release, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I did remember the horrible reviews it received, so I guess I was assuming the worst? Here's my biggest takeaway from Death to Smoochy. This film was before its time. Sure, its manic energy is a little grating, but the subject matter is something we've seen in media over and over again since the film's release. Let's see if this sounds familiar. At the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Rainbow Randolph. He's a children's television show host played by Robin Williams.
Friends come in all sizes, friends come in all sizes, friends come in all sizes, yes they do!
And you know what else comes in all sizes? Our Rainbow Randolph products.
And before you leave to go look, RainbowRandolph.com is no longer active, but it is for sale. For a cool $4,388, it could be yours. What a steal! Sure, he's sweet in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, Rainbow Randolph is running a shady, under-the-table racket.
You want your little booger eater on my show?
Of course.
Yes, very much.
Then don't tell me how to run my fucking business.
This particular transaction is a setup, and he's arrested by the FBI.
You're under arrest.
I'm Rainbow fucking Randolph. Kids love me.
You have the right to remain silent.
Randolph is fired by his parent company, KidNet. They don't want to be put in the situation of hiring someone shady ever again.
We got nervous sponsors and an angry public. What are you gonna do about it?
Excellent question, sir. I've compiled a list of potential replacements.
Clean replacements? With background checks?
The squeaky clean personality they pluck out of obscurity is Smoochy the Rhino.
This is it. This is the guy.
We can do better than Sheldon Mopes. Come on, he brings nothing to the table.
Except ethics.
Smoochy's real name is Sheldon Mopes. He's played by Ed Norton. We find him playing motivational tunes at a methadone clinic.
Oh, we'll get you off that smack, oh yes we will. Oh, we're gonna get you off that smack. We'll kick that monkey right off your back and get your life on track, oh yes we will.
In my opinion, what makes Edward Norton truly great in this film is his innocence. Other characters make fun of him relentlessly, but he's oblivious to their mockery.
Once the evening meds kick in around here, it's pretty much sleepy time in old Coney Island, so
Oh, yeah.
have to get a sing-along going.
Well, at least you know it's the smack that's knocking him out and not your singing, right?
Yeah, God, I hope so.
The company signs Smoochy. They immediately get to work, turning Smoochy into a household name, which includes getting Sheldon a new costume and changing his wholesome, clean lifestyle image.
Smoochy is still trying to earn the trust of these kids. I don't think we're gonna do that by selling them string cheese and shampoo and Smoochy Cola, which contains no less than 2 addictive substances, I might add.
Being new to the corporate game, Sheldon doesn't react well to being told to change his act to appeal to a broad audience. He thinks that his message, eating healthy foods and clean living, well, he thinks that message will appeal to a broad audience. But the corporation slowly chips away at Sheldon until his will is broken.
So don't peddle your sap to me, Rhino. Your job is just to smile and nod your head.
It's at this time that the seedy underbelly of children's television starts to rear its head. Sheldon hires a sketchy agent. He's played by Danny DeVito.
Once you get the money, you get the power. Once you get the power, you can have Smoochy walk out there with a dildo strapped to his head if you want.
I don't think I've thought of that idea specifically.
And Smoochy meets representatives from multiple special interests that try to bend Smoochy's ear.
The Parade of Hope has sponsored every kid in that ice show since 1964. We take a little off the top, everyone goes home happy. So let's not buck history.
And no dark underbelly of children's television would be complete without Rainbow Randolph, whose obsession with getting his job back leads him to repeatedly orchestrate what he hopes will be Smoochy's downfall, complete with booking Smoochy to perform in front of some, well... This leads to Sheldon and Smoochy's downfall in the public eye. Being connected to Nazis doesn't really do the children's show host any favors.
Nora, it's me. No, wait, Nora, I gotta talk to you.
We have nothing to talk about.
What? They're calling me a fascist. In case you haven't noticed, I'm being compared unfavorably with Goebbels.
Meanwhile, Randolph tries to get his job back.
Damn it, Nora! The public's clamoring for me, even if you aren't.
Oh.
I'm a fucking patriot compared to Mopes. Mopes is a Nazi. Probably gay, too. You should have seen the way he was checking me out in the car.
And he accidentally lets it slip that he may have been the reason for Sheldon's Nazi appearance. With that information public, Smoochy is forgiven. And he changes his message to talk more about the dangers of the outside world.
Life outside the magic jungle, it can get pretty complicated. Sometimes being a good person, well, that just isn't always enough.
Sheldon, who genuinely wants people to love Smoochy, decides to use the ice show as a dramatic apology event where all of our storylines intertwine. Smoochy, Rainbow Randolph, the special interests, and Sheldon's agent are all there to witness Smoochy's public story and possible downfall. How many times have we seen this, specifically in politics? We have a scrappy new politician plucked out of obscurity, and once they're elected, the party officials and special interests immediately try to start changing their message. They try to make them into something they're not. How many times do we hear our political opposites compared and connected to actual Nazis? Or sometimes this happens in entertainment. A band releases a scorching first album, only to release a weak follow-up because now the eyes are on them and there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Sometimes this happens in movies where a project is announced and people don't like the casting, so they attack the actors on the internet. So I think Death to Smoochy is more relevant than ever, and an insightful takedown of what happens when someone is in the public eye. Sure, Robin Williams' performance here is manic to the point of being Nicolas Cage.
First, he takes my career and my life. Now my girl.
Calm down, Randy. She's not your girl, Randy.
I'm gonna tear him apart! Peace! Bye! Peace! Peace! Bye!
He said it's time to heal. Now stop it!
Norton Sheldon never really gets road weary, so his arc is a little flat. And I'll just say it. I love Jon Stewart, but he's horrible in this movie.
I'm having second thoughts, Burke. I don't think I can do this.
Relax, it's all good.
Relax. They found Merv Green's head in the Grand Concourse. Pardon my concern.
More for us.
But for a film that's in this book, for a film that was so reviled at the time it was released, I don't feel like Death to Smoochy deserves the vitriol that was directed at it. Is it world-changing? Absolutely not. But I found the film to be pretty entertaining with several laugh-out-loud moments. I mean, a lot of Smoochy's songs are genuinely funny.
He slams the door, he stomps his feet, sends me to bed with zilch to eat. But my stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting.
And for me, a lot of the jokes hit. So I didn't hate my time with it. So no, Death to Smoochy does not suck. It might have sucked at the time of its release, but I think the film has kind of grown and gotten better over time. It was before its time. It's a pretty solid commentary on today's public life landscape. And that's another episode of DTMS. I've listed my social media in the box below, and I hope that these episodes have earned your subscription. And I'll see you next time when we ask the question, does this movie suck? Thanks for watching.